Hey, I would like to welcome you all to Water Your Soil. So this video is going to be about how this car right here, the Amex Delta Business Gold card, can be used to your advantage. You don't want to miss this video, so make sure you stay tuned and watch the whole video. Welcome. So one of the questions you may be wondering, the answer to this question, what went into me getting the Delta Gold business card by Amex? Because a lot of people, they tend to look over this card. They usually go for the higher tier cards, and I understand why they go for the higher tier cards. So there were a couple of things that played into me getting this card. Number one, I already had a rapport established and built with Amex over the years. I've been with Amex since 2017, so I already had a rapport established and built with them where I could pretty much apply for any card with Amex and have a good chance of approval. So that was number one. Number two was I fly with Delta Airlines often. I would say over the last 14-15 years, Delta has been the only airline that I have flown with during that time. So since I'm so used to flying with Delta, of course, I'm going to look into a credit card that's with Delta, since that's basically my primary airline and that's who I fly with all the time anyways. Number three, and this story is a little different. I know some people probably ain't gonna look at this story and be like, oh, that's the reason. But years ago, I used to come across people all the time and they would have the Delta credit card, the gold card. And I would see the card and I'd be like, wow, I wonder what it's like to have one of those cards, because this was prior to my credit journey. So I really didn't have good credit established. You know, I really didn't know much about credit cards, but I will always, like, whenever I would go to the airport or I'm checking in for a flight or something like that, I will always see people pull out a gold card, and they would pull out the Delta Gold card. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty nice card. I wonder, how do you go about getting that card? But back then, I knew I wasn't qualified for that type of credit card. I just knew it because I was almost 100% sure that my credit score wasn't good enough, which it wasn't. So this was like something sort of a bucket list type of vision board type of thing. But there's more that played into it. Another reason why I was so interested in getting the card is because out of, a lot of business cards that were available, with this card in particular, they waived the annual fee for the first year. So I believe it's $99 for the annual fee. However, for the first year, the annual fee is waived. So you're basically using the card the first year on behalf of Amex and Delta. So of course that intrigued me as well, because I was like, wow, the annual fee is waived. The only thing that I wish with this card, and I missed out on this opportunity, was I believe back in July or August of 2021, one of those months, they were doing a deal on this card. I believe it was 70,000 Sky Miles, as well as no APR, meaning no interest on the card for the first year, as well as waiving the annual fee for the first year. If you sign up for the card, you get the card, and I believe it was $2,000 in the first 3 months. If you spend $2,000 in the first 3 months. And unfortunately, I didn't do it. I received the email, they were giving me the offer, and I would constantly blow it off like, no, I'm not right now, I'm not interested in that. And I would constantly blow it off. So I didn't do it. And that's the one regret that I have about this card, that I should have took advantage. That's why I say sometimes you don't want to procrastinate. If the offer is good, you want to take that offer, because you may not get it back. So by the time I actually signed up for this card and I was actually approved of it, the 0% APR that expired. So they weren't offering that anymore, and they weren't offering 70,000 Sky Miles anymore. They were offering, it dropped down to 50,000. So it was 50,000 for me and my offer. I don't know what it would be for you. I think it may be 40,000 Sky Miles if you spend $2,000 in the first 3 months. Either way, I got 50,000 of it. Now I'm gonna tell you how I was able to get the 50,000 Sky Miles. Now, as far as what the 50,000 Sky Miles add up to, It varies on which flights you want to take, but I'm sure you can get a good, decent round trip flight for a decent amount of miles out of that 50,000 miles. So that's good. You basically getting 50,000 miles for spending that $2,000. Now, if you're new to this channel or you don't come to this channel often, I always say, in order to meet your minimum spend requirement, which is what they offer, if they say spend $2,000 in the first 3 months or $1,000 in the first 3 months, that's your minimum spend, what they want you to spend during that time in that offer. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to apply for a credit card that you want, of course, during the time where you have to buy or purchase something that's going to end up costing what that minimum spend is. So I knew, the minimum spend was $2,000 for the first 3 months. So what I did is I went out and bought this camera that I'm recording on right now. I knew that I had to buy a camera for my YouTube page as part of an investment, as well as other equipment to go along with it. So I figured I was gonna do this anyways. I was spending this $2,000 regardless. The $2,000 was gonna get spent regardless. So I figured I might as well spend the $2,000 and get 50,000 extra Delta Sky miles to add on to the Sky miles that I already had. So basically what I did is I did that. I got the camera and the equipment, and it equaled up to $2,000 within the first 3 months. Amex, they already rewarded me my 50,000 Sky miles, so that was good. So basically I got a free round trip flight at minimum out of purchasing something that I was already going to purchase. And that's how you want to do it. You wait until you have something that you have to purchase, and you're going to purchase it regardless whether you get your new card or not. And you're basically putting money back in your pocket. On top of that, I also got a $50 statement credit, so that was an extra $50. Now, I will say I was not expecting to get the $50 statement credit because it wasn't included in my offer, but if you go on the website for Delta, you will see it on there. They're always offering that $50 statement credit if you sign up for the card and you spend the minimum fee as far as what they're offering, the minimum spend amount. So I ended up getting the $50 on top of the 50,000 Sky miles. And that was for doing and purchasing something that I was gonna already purchase. And that's the thing with these credit cards. Whenever you're gonna sign up for a credit card and you have a good chance of getting approved for that credit card, and they are offering things such as if you spend $1,000 in 3 months or anything, it could be anything. If you have that, be sure to do it around the time where you have something to buy around that time, because it makes it easier and it helps you because you already know that you were going to spend that money anyways. So I bought this camera, something I was going to do whether I got the card or not, as well as the camera equipment, something I was going to do whether I got the card or not. And I ended up with 50,000 Sky miles with Delta in return, as well as $50. And plus, not to mention, I also get the first month with the first year with no annual fee. Also, I get to check one free bag on if I'm with main cabin, I get to check one free bag. Well, I believe that's regardless, you get to check one free bag. But with main cabin, I get the board priority. So this is pretty good. The annual fee is $99 per year. The first year I don't have to pay it, as I said. So for me, it was a win-win decision. And in my opinion, it was a good decision. So I fly with Delta all the time, so it just made sense for me. But be sure, whenever you're applying for a credit card, if you're gonna apply for this credit card, be sure that you know how you're gonna get to that $2,000 in the first 3 months, how you're gonna spend it. Make sure you already have that figured out. That way you're not just spending money just so you can meet the minimum spend requirement. Be sure you already have that figured out. But anyways, I'd like to thank you all for checking out my channel. Be sure to subscribe. help this channel out. This is a new channel. If this video has helped you in any way, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.